I'm back. Let's go. Welcome to Last Chance Q with myself, Coach JB and Sean Salisbury.
We will not talk over the amateur or under the expert.
It's not only the X's and O's, but it's about the Jimmys and Joes.
And it's not just quarterback. We got all the positions, teaching, coaching, laughing, and joking.
We're using football terminology so we can get through this faster than we don't want to use these long terms, Coach. We got quick verbiage to get to the point. Last Chance Q with the great legendary Sean Salisbury. What up, man? Jeff, what up, Jeff? Sean?
What's up?
Morning.
We're in the building, man. Sunday fun day.
We need to change that open. Get Jeff and we need a new funny open. We need to all three change that open, don't you think?
Yeah, we got a chance. Old.
Yep. Time to catch up.
Old as your underwear, man.
Well, I changed it this morning, so there you go.
Hey, my fucking boat has a leak.
Mine ain't good.
Wow. Well, as much time as you spend on it, it might as well.
Hey, you know what it is, though? But it's not ocean water. That's the good part. Or I'd be on the bottom of the fucking – and I'd be in Long Beach, the real hood, not the Esco.
I'm from both, so there you go.
Hey, Weddle's team plays Esco this week.
See, Esco and Steel Canyon got in a fight on the sidelines, too, over the weekend. You don't roll up into Esco, Nadu, without Salisbury there. I mean, there's certain places in the country you got to make sure that I'm with you, and Esco's one of them. You don't want to roll up in there without me.
Escondido, Jeff. It's like a fucking shithole around the TJ border.
Whoa, Jeff! Don't let him talk about my hometown like that, brother.
I've been to that area one time. It's nice. Nice
area. Yeah, you just don't go to when you cross over the tracks to the mean streets. You don't want to go where I'm from.
Good Mexican food.
Dog.
Good Mexican.
I went to Tijuana one time. It was a great time, man. Yeah. I enjoyed that. It was
one
night.
You go to Hong Kong, Jeff?
No, Adelitas, I think, or something.
Oh, yeah, Adelia. You didn't go to Hong Kong, though. That's the best city bar in Mexico. But anyway,
it was a long time ago.
Hey, we got a lot to discuss today. A full slate real quick. This show is powered by BetUS. Head on over there right now. Get your use the Coach JB promo code. Get you 150% bonus on first deposit up to $2,000. So, Jeff, Sean, the game's on right now. Real quick, any thoughts on this shit bowl of a game between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants? I just saw Dayball rip Daniel Jones' ass again, Sean. I love it. I love that he still coaches hard. They ran a flea flicker, and this fucker don't throw to either wide open bang eight. And he just, like, what the fuck are you doing? And takes a sack on a flea flicker, Sean. I don't know if I've ever seen a sack taken on a flea flicker. So what's your thoughts on this Giant and Carolina 2-7 matchup?
Well, not a game unless you're a fan, maybe even then, of either one of those teams that you would want to tune into unless you have to cover all 32 teams. But you watch it. One thing I do notice, and I know that we all think that maybe on the quarterback position, first off, the Giants will be looking for a new quarterback this offseason. I think that's obvious. I mean, they gave him the money, but it's time because Daniel Jones can only get you to a certain point. Nice guy, but there's just something missing there. And we've seen enough body of work to know it's time. And then are we ready, still prepared with that team to call Bryce Young a bust? Are you guys ready for that yet? Or are you guys ready to give him another go at it as they build something? Are you think that there's another – he's got good football IQ. He's undersized, but I'm not willing to quit on him just yet. We've given guys a lot longer opportunities. So let's see the rest of this year and maybe early next year how this thing goes.
I'm with you, Jeff. I don't know. I mean, listen, it's a bad organization. We saw it with Sam Darnold. Everybody quit on Sam Darnold with the Jets and the Carolina Panthers, and then he goes and gets a real organization, and look what's happened to him. He's resurrected. I just think we throw these guys in the boat, in the fire too quickly on a bad team. Look how many quarterbacks we've hurt like that in the history of football. So Bryce is just another one. Caleb Williams is another one. All these guys being thrown to these teams with no offensive lines, bad culture.
You also look at someone like Baker Mayfield. I mean, he was kind of thrown into that Cleveland situation, not a good one. He kind of bounced around from team to team, got the right situation in Tampa, and all of a sudden he's kind of resurrected his career like Darnold did, and Coach mentioned. I don't know. this is a really horrific team. I mean, overall. So I'd love to see him with a different team. I don't know if it's, is he going to be the number one pick? We all thought he'd be. Probably not, but yeah, it's a bad football team. This is an indictment right now. You put this game in Germany. It's the only game on right now. This is an indictment on what this league is now. It's a bad offensive league. It's hard to watch. And we find ourselves, I mean, guys, I'll ask you, I mean, we're in week 10? I mean, can you remember, more than 3 or 4 really good games in this league, with, like at the high quality that we want? I mean, it's ugly, man.
Well, like Thursday night was a high quality football.
Yeah, that's about
great quarterback play.
Yeah.
I actually think two of the weaknesses in the league this year. And when you say this, people say, well, what about the way Lamar's playing? I'm not talking about the ones we know that are obvious, Josh Allen, the way they're playing.
Sure.
I'm talking about overall from 1 to 32, backups and starters, and the offensive line. The quarterback and offensive line positions have been the weakest in the league this year. I'm talking about on a week-to-week sustained success basis. We have too much talk each week about, well, they can't block anybody in just a 4-man front or a little twist. And with quarterback play, well, they haven't sustained it. The great ones are playing like they're supposed to. Some of the really good ones have taken a step back at times this year. And the overall product of quarterback play, I'm talking about the depth of it this year, when you look at it, is a bit shocking. I think both of two of the biggest weaknesses we've had in the league this year are consistent quarterback play and consistent offensive line play, which I think has put him in a struggle. I can tell you this offseason, Jeff, to go along with your saying and JB about coaching, and it still does matter. And I know we think in certain sports it matters more than others, and I couldn't agree with what Jeff said a couple weeks ago. Couldn't agree more. But Ben Johnson's going to get a hold of one of these quarterbacks, and I'm telling you, his career is going to change because there's no better non-head coach like an Andy Reid who's a head coach and a play caller. There's no better just pure offensive coordinator and aggressiveness in this league than the guy who calls plays in Detroit.
Cliff Kingsbury probably get a shot too. Huh?
Oh, and Cliff's look what he's doing as a pure play caller. He's going to get another shot at that position. So Jayden Daniels it's reflected on his play, and Jared Goff went from a guy being kind of, well, who knows how he's going to be, right? What are we going to get? In LA, they went to the Super Bowl, but, man, we got to get to the next level, we got to go get rid of Goff. Well, look what Goff's done. His confidence has gone through the roof with his head coach and now with his coordinator, another year with him, and now he's in the MVP talk. So somebody who understands the position and the ins and outs of how to read a defense and how to attack sure does make an impact, and both of those guys in both Washington and Detroit are making a huge impact on their guys.
Yeah, we got Jayden Daniels right here, Coach, and you can kind of see that he's dual threat dynamic. He's Lamar Jackson, 1.B or 2.0. He's athletic. He's not quite the guy Lamar is, but he can throw it better, in my opinion, as far as a pure passer.
In their rookie years, JB, early in their career, he's a better pure thrower of the football than Lamar was at the stage that Jayden Daniels is in. Matter of fact, he's a better pure thrower than a lot of cats as a true rookie are, and they're 5 years into the league. He's pretty special talent.
Yeah, no doubt. He could pull it and do this, and we're going to see him today. We're going to talk about this game, but we got a little film on a lot of these few guys, and they do a lot of things there with Cliff Kingsbury. You saw they did the okey doke here, moved Jayden over a snap, and everyone had to recognize direct snap to Robinson, who's been pretty good, Jeff, in the DFS side of things. If any of you guys out there picking those guys, they got a 1-2 punch with McLaurin and this back and Robinson. They're pretty good there in Washington.
But this is where it gets difficult. I'm going to just say it. I know people won't like it. The kid's playing well, but you're going to get a real test on defense today. This group of teams that this individual has faced is not good. I mean, you faced the Giants, who I guess that's an okay defense, but a bad team. The Bears are bad. The Panthers stink. The Ravens pass defense is the worst in the league. Browns, I don't know. They were not playing well at the time. Cardinals aren't great. Bengals defense stinks. This is a good defense, a good coach. Mike Tomlin, I know I don't love him, but he's a great coach as an underdog. He's good in these types of spots. So this would be another big game for Daniels today.
Yeah, and that's another game we'll watch later on, Sean. Sean and I will break down a little Russell Wilson since he's taken over. We got some game film on him. We'll watch a little bit before we talk about that game here in a little bit. Jeff, let's dive right into it. The morning slate, obviously this game is 17-7 right now, updated in Munich, Germany. It's a 17-7 game. Panthers are up. Young's got 110 yards passing, and that's like a good night right now in the NFL for these young quarterbacks, man. It's kind of hard to watch. The first game we're going to talk about, though, Patriots-Bears. Sean's USC alum counterpart, Caleb Williams, 4-4, 4-0 at home, 0-4 on the road. They're at home here, Sean. They're I believe they are a
6.5.
6.5. I don't have the deal, Jeff. Send me
Bears are a favorite. Scoresandodds.com.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Listen, Bears are home 4-0. The Patriots are a bad team, Sean. I'm going to take the Bears on the road. I mean, at home, straight money line for myself because I already put it in with BetUS. Where are you guys at with this one?
Jeff, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think both these teams are hard for me to have interest in betting on. The Patriots, I'm not sure if they're a real good defense. I mean, I think we kind of assume just because Gerard Mayo's the coach and, he's a former player, they're going to be the next, he's going to be the next Mike Vrabel and they're going to have a standout defense. They're not. I mean, they've just been kind of pedestrian. At times they've given up some big scoring games. We obviously remember that Houston game. This is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Problem for both these teams, offensive line issues, and both teams have injuries up front. Not exactly great. Caleb Williams coming off a really poor game. I feel like Matt Eberflus is kind of a lame duck coach as well. These are two teams I really just don't have much interest in. I don't really understand how the Bears are 6-point favorite to really anybody at this point. Are they the better team? Yeah, but you look at the one deficiency they're going to have today, as usual, is the offensive line, and that can make everything kind of tumble. Wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots found a way to hang in this game and win it. I want to make it clear, I didn't bet this one. I had a small lean to the Patriots. To be frank, I want at least 7.5 if I'm going to bet the Patriots. Betting it at 6, I mean, this could be 24-17. So, gun in my head, I'd lean New England, but I didn't bet it.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet it either. This reeks of ugly football with some good plays in it, but just a struggle, field goal game. This is like 17-13 to me, 20-16. I would not bet it either. I like the Bears at home, and we obviously see that Caleb Williams and that offense, they play better at home, far better. And Drake Mays, I think he's made on a team that's not loaded with – I mean, that gun's half empty. But Drake May's shown some signs of a guy who's got a chance if he gets coached right. I would take, if I was betting it, if I was forced to, I would take the Patriots, but I wouldn't touch this. I don't even know what the overall number is. But it feels like an under game, even if it's in the high 30s, low 40s. The Bears are going to win the game, but if in the betting world, I would take the Patriots at that if I was doing it. But this isn't something that I would even touch right now. Two very average football teams. The better of the two quarterbacks overall right now is Caleb Williams because his feet, and that'll help an offensive line. So maybe the Bears in a closer one.
Just a little thought, quick weather in this game. It's pretty windy in Chicago. No surprise there. Winds are 17 to 20 miles an hour, gusts a little bit deeper than that. So, throw in this total was up near 40. It's now 37. I mean, I think Sean kind of hit it on the head. Poor quarterback play, two coaches that no one's real interested in, maybe keep the ball on the ground. I mean, these offensive lines could make everything real bad. Both teams dealing with injuries.
Yeah. Let's travel to Naptown, Indianapolis. The Bills travel to the Colts. It's a minus over and under 4.5, Jeff. Where are you at with this total, though? 46.5. I don't know. The Colts defense, who everybody thought was going to be good, Sean, has been abysmal, to be honest. They can't stop the run. They can't stop anybody. The Bills are on a heater, as we would call in the poker world or on blackjack table. They're 7-2, and addition by subtraction has been real so far. With the loss of Stephon Diggs, the Bills have thrived, in my opinion, and Josh Allen looks better than he has in a long time. I'm taking the Bills, no doubt, to cover the 4.5, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't agree. I took Indy here. I've liked Indy. In fact, bettors like Indy. They've covered 7 of 9 this year. They've covered 4 of their last 5 as an underdog, winning 2 of the games outright. So, they've been in a lot of games. And what I find to be exciting about that is that was with Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco is an upgrade at quarterback. I know he didn't look like it last week, but this is not as blitz heavy of a defense there in Buffalo. You also look at Buffalo on the road here, not going to have Keon Coleman or Amari Cooper, which makes me think if you like James Cook in the fantasy world, maybe it'd be a good time to back him or Ramon Davis or Ray Davis, what he's called now, I believe. This Indy defense over the last 3 games is actually a top 5 coach rushing defense.
Getting Forrest Buckner back was a big help too, Joe.
Yeah, I think, at least recently they've been actually pretty good against the run. I don't love them overall, but I was surprised to see that Indy's actually only given up 21 points a game. They're better than I think we think. And I'll throw in, they are very good against the spread. I've liked them really anything above a field goal. Buffalo's just kind of rolling. This could be kind of a low spot. They don't have a ton of weapons on the outside. It's going to be probably a big game for Shakir, James Cook, the run game. I'm gonna take Indy here plus 4.5. I think this is a spot where they hang.
And I don't know if there's any comparison to this at all, but the last time Buffalo went on the road against a division team like this, they came to Houston and Josh Allen was 9 of 30. Now, so who knows that he, then they are playing better defense, and the Texans have seen that. And hell, if Flacco plays his normal game that he played last year in Cleveland and what we expect from him, they win last week. They very well may have won last. What was it, Minnesota? Was it Minnesota? Yeah. They had the ball with a chance. Inside of 2 minutes, Joe just was not the typical Flacco coming off his couch and doing his thing. And I would expect him to play better today. I think Buffalo's going to win the game, but I think sneaky wise, because of the way it's going on, we're not talking much about the Colts defense. And Jeff put the numbers out there, and because they're in the division, we talk about divisional teams on my local show all the time. I actually think the Colts will keep it close. I think Buffalo wins in the end because when it all gets down to it, Josh Allen is playing like an MVP, and he may have to use his feet to pull this one out, advantage them because the other quarterback doesn't move. Flacco will play better today, but give me Buffalo and closer than 4 or 4.5. I think it's a field goal game, but Buffalo wins it. I probably wouldn't bet this one either because a home game, and I like Buffalo's team, but I like the Colts defense. Give me Buffalo to win, but in the betting world, I'll take those points if I'm the Colts. I think the Colts win the bet. I would bet on them if I had to.
Kind of looking down the road, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the Colts are not going to win the Super Bowl, as we know. You look at the future, this team has to find a way to go out and get a quarterback and for it to work. They have not succeeded at that really since Andrew Luck left. They need to go out and address this. I actually like this team. I mean, they have some decent skill position players. John Taylor's legit, good offensive line, a solid defense. They're not that far off. They just need a quarterback, and Anthony Richardson's been a failure, so you got to go address that. They're going to be in that 10 to 13 range. Maybe you have to move up to get one, but they got to try to find a way to get one.
One thing I know for sure, JB, and you know this covering the position, that Anthony Richardson, while explosive talent, you're not a 45% completion percentage guy. Then all of a sudden you end up 70. He may have an outlier season where he's 62 or 63. He's just an inaccurate passer, and that tells me that you're always going to be, for the most part. And in our league now, if you're 61%, you're not an accurate passer. It's weird, but it's the way it works. I don't ever expect him. He's an explosive talent, but you got to sustain accuracy to be great in this league. And that's with Jeff, that they may be a little more impatient than normal and heading into the draft, because that's awfully inaccurate. We're talking about historic inaccuracy for a starter. They're better with Flacco right now. Buffalo's the better team.
But that's kind of where we are. Joe Flacco is a journeyman at this point. Still a quality quarterback, but he's a journeyman. I mean, when that's what you're saying with an individual still on his rookie deal, I mean, it's time to cut ties. It's cheap now. You can still get out of it. They're still talking about we believe in him. How? I mean, the proof's
they have to say that, Jeff, to cover their own ass.
I know they do.
He hasn't even played 17 games yet because injuries last year, the benching and stuff this year. Like I said, I love his skill set. The problem is part of that skill set of being a quarterback is you got to actually throw it. You got to be able to hit the car wash, not just throw it through it without getting it wet. He's having a hard time hitting the car wash. They're better chance to wins with Flacco right now, and that's saying something considering how much investment they put in to Anthony Richardson.
And Sean, one other thing, you made a great point with his completion percentage this year, 44%. I mean, his career completion percentage, 50.2%. I mean, that is heinous. I mean, that's
really, in the era,
really
guys. That's in the era, guys, where we live with bubble screens and smoke screens.
Yes, right.
So just let that
and shallow crossers.
And not for nothing. How many of those passes were just him throwing the ball up and a receiver makes a play? I mean, he is a guy who likes to just kind of toss it up. So it could be even lower.
Unfortunately, guys, I hate to burst your bubble, but there ain't no quarterback in this draft that's going to be Jalen Milroe's similar to him. I'm just sorry. There is no NFL-ready passer to come in the NFL. They're not getting developed. I'm just telling you.
The more I watch college football, which I love more than the NFL anyway, so we're in front of the TV like you guys are from college game day till midnight or whatever on Saturday night. I'm going to tell you what, Carson Beck went in as a first rounder. That guy is having a hard time against tough competition and pressure. Shedeur Sanders is the best of the group right now. He just is.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers has got potential, but has shown flashes of getting erratic with the football at times. I mean, Dylan Gabriel's not a Sunday. He's not an NFL starter right now, although a competitive sucker.
I don't see one, Sean.
I'm going to tell you what, the kid at Indiana down the road maybe end up being. He may end up being more pro because he's accurate. I'm going to tell you what, if you're willing to pick a quarterback, Shedeur Sanders probably, because everybody that needs one's going to jump in. He's the best of the group, but after that, if you're picking like in fourth in the draft, are you willing to take a risk?
Sean, do you really see him though in 2 and 3 years in the league, especially if he gets drafted by a bad team, being a guy? Because I don't.
Sanders, no. But I'm talking about of the best guys. He's the best of the draft eligible.
I agree.
Guys. No doubt.
Yeah. I agree, but I'm just saying in 2 years we're going to be looking there and saying, "Oh, we traded him for nothing," also because we don't develop these guys. And Shedeur, in my opinion, doesn't translate very well in 3 or 4 years in the NFL with the elongated motion he has. He's not a freak. He's an ad-lib player that's a good athlete, but he's not one of these freaks out here. He's not AR5, by the way. He's a long motion guy, pretty accurate, decent arm strength in a team that I'm not in love with.
I'm not in love with any draft eligible quarterback right now. I'm just not. So if you're going to throw one franchise on it, good luck now. Maybe late in the first round, second round, develop. Yeah, where you don't expect them, sure. But of the group, I mean, Shedeur Sanders is the best of the group. And you better, Quinn, who I love, I coached him when he was in the 8th or 9th grade at a camp, and I thought, man, this guy's got all kinds of – we know the ability. We're not doubting that. But you better get a good attention to mechanics detail guy in the NFL for these guys, because all the fun stuff you can do in college, the windows that are open become coffee can-sized windows in the NFL, and if you don't anticipate – forget. And you know what? Garrett Nussmeier, I don't know what happened, but he went from a guy who was making throw after throw after throw to the last 2 or 3 times. He's turned the ball over too much. You're like, it's like he and Carson
I'll tell you what happened.
At the same time. Like, what happened to you guys?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. He played a really good defense at A&M and Alabama, who, we all know at the end of the day still get great prospects. They're not that elite defense. But let me ask you guys one name. A guy before the season won the Heisman Trophy, didn't actually get there just because the team's 8-2. Jackson Dart is having a terrific season. I mean, 3,400 yards, 4 interceptions, 22 touchdowns. 71% completion. He's been very good.
I'll be honest with you. I'd take him late in the first round before I'd take anybody in the first 5 picks.
That's what I'm saying. He's a guy who, maybe he's not
6'1", 6 foot. They're just not.
He's got great feet.
He's 6'2".
I mean, when I talk for a guy, he's got really, really good feet. When he's not hurting, he can extend plays. We've seen it. Straight line speed. He's got a monster arm, and he's a tough ass son of a big competitor. But if you're asking me, Jeff. And to me, if there's like 1 or 2 guys, I sit over here and I say, if somebody gets a hold of them right, they could be starting by year 2 or 3. Dart's one of them, and he's obviously a high octane offense, and they play fast with Lane Kiffin. I'm just telling you, I'm with you. I would take him late in the first round or somewhere in the second round before I would. Let's say he's a second rounder. I think your chances of him exceeding his expectations in the second round are as good as any of the guys you would take in the first 10 picks, exceeding their expectations there.
Here's the thing, though,
I think he's sneaky good.
He's got to go now. Like the fucking 28-year-old getting in the NFL, the shit is just killing the league. I'm just telling you, the kid got to go now. He's 21, about to be 22.
Yeah, he's got to go. Oh yeah, he's
he will.
And it's the right year. It's the right year for him to go too.
Yeah, it is. But look at these guys. It's open. Look at these guys staying, though, to get an NIL bag of money, and they stay an extra year, an extra 2 years, and they think that, I'm just going to stay in college. They get to the NFL, man. I'm just telling you, by the time they go to the league, they miss their window. They're 25, and now they're on a bad roster. Like if I'd have went with at 23, I'd be on the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They
can't stay around. He's got to go. It's a perfect time for him to go because
he could be a guy that can make a real ascent. Once the season ends, he can make an ascent as being that kind of guy that we didn't really see. Nussmeier kind of ruins it for himself. Maybe he makes his way into the top 15.
I see Jackson Dart. I see Bryce Young. I mean, I'm be honest. A small, frail guy he's injury prone. He's going to have no offensive line when he gets to the league.
I think he's going to measure size and height, the size and weight wise, bigger than Jackson than Bryce.
Yeah. He'll be heavier.
He'll be on the north side of 6 foot. I don't think he's going to be 5'10".
Well, he's measured 6'2". I mean,
which means the NFL is going to measure him at 6 3/4 or 6'1", right?
6 foot and a half.
Yeah. But we'll see. But I like his. I think he's one of those guys gets in front of scouts in the offseason and throws it and runs around. They're going to love him in shorts and a T-shirt as well. They just
no
will.
doubt. Johnny Manzielish. Let's dive into this next one, man, because I'm taking the Bills. And here's my last part of the Bills. And Sean and Jeff, I just want to say this. When you lose the way the Colts lose, and Sean, you can attest to this more than any of us in the room, over and over and over and over, it eventually bites you in the ass, and it's too much to overcome. And I believe the Colts have hit that wall, and I think the Bills go in there and fucking mud stomp them today. I just have a feeling they run the football with Cook. They'll get the ball to Shakir and the 2 tight ends. And Josh Allen will make plays with his feet that the Colts just cannot defend. And good at playing on defense last 3 weeks, Jeff, to your point. Offensively, when you fail a good defense over and over and over, the team starts to lose it.
Listen, but that said, I just want to point this out. They are 4-5, and they're not 2-7. This is a Bills team that is very good at home, 4-0, 3-2 on the road. And look, again, this Colt team remind me of the Vrabel Titans teams. They were always in games. And Coach, you make a good point. Kind of just continuing to lose. They're not 2-7.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what my point. They lose in close, tight ones.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I just think it's going to be interesting. But I'm taking the Bills in this one.
Well, you're opposite of, I believe, Sean and I. So
yeah, you two are with the Colts to cover. Sean thinks the Bills will win the game, but he thinks that the Colts will cover this 4.5. So I'm on the other side. I think the Bills are going to win it. Let's go to the Vikings-Jags, man. I think everybody in the world is with the Vikings. They got back on the winning schneid last week after losing in 2 games in a row to 2 good teams within about 6 days' time. I think the Vikings find it again and start to roll again and get back into this NFC North conversation with Detroit and stay ahead of Green Bay. The Jags are just waiting to fire their head coach at this point, Sean.
Yeah, man. I don't know how now without with Mac Jones, he's limited physically. I mean, if you give him a clean pocket, he'll make some throws. I don't know why this has been such an inconsistent go. You're exactly right. We talk about Matt Eberflus. Now I know that Peterson has a Super Bowl in his back pocket, but at some point in time, is he on borrowed time, lame duck status himself? And I like Doug, but it's so weird because every year we get intrigued with Jacksonville and Lawrence and say they're going to another level. And then somehow, some way, whether he gets banged up or they let you down, they're a tease. But unfortunately, they're just an appetizer and a tease. They don't elevate to another level under this. I expect more out of the team. I don't think there's any way Jacksonville can hang with a backup. And you know what Brian Flores is going to do. He is going to force Mac Jones off his mark, who's probably a little bit better with his feet than we think, but he's not going to win a game with his feet. If he's not throwing in rhythm on time, Jacksonville's going to be in trouble.
Sean, this is -7. This is Minnesota -7.
Yeah, well, I think that Minnesota is going to pressure. They may even get a defensive score. I don't trust Jacksonville in this game. I don't care where they're playing. Give me the Vikings.
They're like the Bills, aren't they? Like the Bills in a lot of sense. Every preseason we think the Bills are Super Bowl champs.
There's no doubt. And Lawrence is going to end up in the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, and he doesn't. And like I said, I still love his ability, but how much longer do we keep saying we love the ability? I got to have performance over potential. Good player flashes. He'll put a 330 up one week, and the next week you're like, what are you doing? Yeah. And he's not playing today. Now maybe they've do something different and keep it simple with Mac Jones, who's a smart guy, but he's just physically limited. Give me the Vikings defense to be the difference, and Sam Darnold, I think, will play well. Even though it's a pretty big number on the road, there's a reason it's a big number on the road. I like Minnesota in this to cover. I think this is a double-digit win for the Vikings, who have kind of not floundered but haven't been their same selves. Defense will take care of their business today.
Jeff, I know Jeff's interesting to hear this. A big number on the road, as you mentioned, Sean. Jeff, break that down.
Yeah, I got to give the Jags some credit, though. I mean, for as maligned as they've been this year, 2-7, kind of a lame duck coach, quarterback hasn't kind of figured things out. They went down early against the Philadelphia Eagles and fought back. They had a shot to win that game. They were going in with the ball until they, Lawrence threw a late interception. Give them some credit on the road for doing that. Look, the idea here for me is simple. If I'm Brian Flores, he blitzes a lot. Blitz, blitz, blitz. Mac Jones is immobile as it comes. They don't have a ton of weapons. They've had a lot of injuries. The offenses look poor at times. They just haven't had that next step quarterback-wise. I think they struggle to score. I like the under in this game. I think Minnesota, good offense, but Jags have played a little bit better defensively, at least in the second half last week against the Eagles. I'm willing to think that maybe some of the things they've done in the secondary could fix that. I think they're playing more of a safeties up top, that sort of thing. Too high safety, I believe it's called. I'm getting a little traditional coach's lingo there. Coach, did I say it right? Too high safety? Is that what Jackson?
Yeah, that's too deep. Yep, cover two.
Are you referring to Mina Kimes?
No, I don't even know what. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But at any rate, I like the under 43. I think the Vikings will probably get 24-27. I thought this was like a 24-10 type of game. I think the Jags are really going to struggle to move the ball. Blitz, blitz, blitz is what Flores does.
Yeah. Sean?
Under 43.
I'm taking Minnesota by double digits.
I think they go back on a winning streak. I think they show that that's who they were.
This to me is like 27-10, 27-13.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think that's the gig here.
Keep in mind, and I'm just going to keep pointing this out. We're in week 10. The betting public has done very well this year. These sides of like the whole world's on a side, they've been winning, at least other than Thursday night. So it'll change at some point, but I like the under. I think those scores make sense, though. That's where I'm looking at.
No doubt. Listen, man, real quick, we got a little bit of Pittsburgh film because this next game is the Washington Commanders and Pittsburgh Steelers. And Jeff, I don't know if you know about any injuries or not, but we got the film up, and Sean and I can break this down real quick. This is Russell Wilson's first start versus the Jets. And Sean, as we know, they came out in a lot of 21, 22, 12 personnel and manipulated the Jets on defense, and they had their best offensive output. Since then, they've gone on and won another one. And where are you at with Russell Wilson and how they are with the Steelers versus how they were with Justin Fields?
I actually, we know their defense will always show up and hit you in the mouth. I think Russell Wilson's playing smarter football. It feels like he's less skittish. Now, is Russ Wilson Seattle Russ Wilson? No, but he's validating now, even though we may have liked the way Fields had him in 4 wins at times, his Fields' natural and his explosive ability. But Russell Wilson's playing efficient enough football. He's not trying to be a hero most of the time, and he doesn't feel as skittish to me. So along with that, he kind of fitting into how Pittsburgh wins games, and Mike Tomlin is validating the decision that some people questioned when he made it, including me. Like, why would you do this for a guy? Make him go back and earn the job. But,
I love it. Sean, just a couple quick plays here to show the fan out here what's going on and what they do that's very, very meticulous.
Changing his launch point a lot, too, which is important.
Yeah, they get him on the move, which I think he's great. Remember, this guy's been to 2 Super Bowls, should have won 2. He's won 1. He'd probably be a Hall of Famer. But Pittsburgh's known to do what with this guy, Najee Harris, people? Run the football downhill. And that's why they're in a lot of 12 personnel sets, a lot of heavy load sets. And what they do here, Jeff and Sean, I love because they insert this play action boot naked. They're going to run him here. But watch how they loop the inside, the floating tight end inside to act as if he's going to sniff out one of these backers in the run game. And that is what sells a lot of this that a lot of people won't break down.
And you have to freeze once that happens, JB, because you can't retreat. You have to step up, which allows play action and, over routes and misdirection to happen for you.
And you get motion away, Sean. You get motion away, and then you do an inside looper here, which looks like
he's going to steal off. Yeah.
Look at that. Inside run game. Goes inside. They look like they're stretch basin out here to run the ball away. So they get a little fold scheme inside with the backside tight end. So they're running away. Everybody sees run. They think this is a fold scheme on the back door, and then they pull the ball, naked it, and this is really good.
JB, go back to the set alignment. And so people at home that don't freeze right there. What would the reason? First of all, motion gets people to slide. Outside stretch zone, which allows the play to take longer, which allows you to take an inside release if you're 81 and still get to your position to the flat. What we normally do on this, folks, and this is why this is a brilliant design, is normally 81 would play off the right hip of the tight end that's there and then go to the flat. He'd hit, hesitate, go to the flat. But once he takes an inside release, automatically in the pass game, we assume he's finished on defense. He's not. And the way they set this up, this is actually a really brilliant, and you can't do this on quick play action.
No.
You allow him to do this where he can get on the top, whether it's to the flat or to the corner. And in this case, getting there allows him to pressure inside, push, and then get going. And the long stretch fake to a really physical back allows this play to have time to develop. And then we've seen Russ Wilson in his career either get the ball to the flat, get it out there, but they're working a really good combo with the tight end and the wing back here, and a great design to get him inside and kind of switch it.
And Sean, real quick, so everybody out there that knows football, this stretch base technique that we like to call this tackle, this tight end here, is called a stretch base. That means he's going to stretch base this, and that's going to make sure that he doesn't get wrong armed. That means that he doesn't get reached. So this guy on defense is taught, I cannot get reached. And when they
got to keep his outside arm free. Yes.
Outside arm free for outside zone here. So if this guy goes inside and I get reach, guess what? This guy thinks the play's dead. So does he, because they're reading his hat level. So guess what? The tight end reaches. This guy goes inside, and then they see run away. And look.
They start running like crazy.
Look at this guy. He's lost. He don't even give a fuck about 81. He don't even
look
know.
Look where his head is, JB. It's in the backfield. He's not even seeing 81.
Look at that. Look at this. Look at their eyes. And you do that, man. It's great shit. And by the way,
look at the switch, JB. You get the inside release guy that would be a different run in the corner route, and then the original tight end who hits base and get to the flat. Now you're just high-lowing, and both of them are open. He had either one. The reason he got that ball out and it took long is because the guy's in his upfield pressure in his face. And it's this is unlike at times in Denver and late in Seattle. Russ Wilson makes a smart decision.
Yeah,
this is a smart decision, and you never go broke taking a profit. It would have been the same amount of yards had he thrown it to the corner. So that's a great choice by him.
Yeah, and this segment is brought to you by DV Sport. We get all three angles. We get the defensive ass end of it, we get the offensive ass end of it, and then we get the wide copy, which you can't find anywhere else. All powered by BetUS. So he had options. He had dealer's choice here. Bailey, take us away. We got that film right there. And Jeff, I don't know who's injured for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but to your point about Tomlin, it makes Russell Wilson do exactly what he just did. And Sean pointed out, make the smart decision instead of trying to chuck something deep. Because of Najee Harris and that defense, Tomlin is implanted in him saying, hey, man, you take what they give you and we'll fucking play defense and run the football and we'll be fine. We'll win another 13 games this year. And so I think that's what Russell's buying into, to Sean's point.
I love it.
Yeah, as far as this game, though, I like Pittsburgh. You kind of went over their quarterback. They've had a kind of a nice shot in the arm with Wilson. He's in a better system. It's working for him. The goal is running the football here, as you guys alluded to, keeping the ball at Jayden Daniels' hands, who is dealing with – he has a lot of pressure. He's kind of been a one-man show. He's kind of had to do a lot there. I wouldn't say that they're riddled with a ton of weapons there in Washington. We've seen this number. It's 2.5 all week. Now you're starting to see some Pittsburgh money. Mike Tomlin is the most profitable underdog coach in the league over his career. That makes sense due to the fact that he's been around so long. One thing to keep an eye on, too, for as good as Pittsburgh's been defensively, it's going to be a big shot for Jayden Daniels. It's going to be very difficult. A close game, right? This number's 1.5, 2. The Commanders kicker, Austin Seibert, not going to play in this game. That could be a big loss, maybe an issue in the kicking game there. They're going to go with Zane Gonzalez. That could be something that's big in this game. Maybe this comes down to a field goal or a 3 or 4 point game. Could be big. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh here. I think they're the better team, and I think they make it difficult on Daniels in this game.
If Washington wins this, Sean, though, I'm just going to tell you right now, them and the Eagles are going to have a finale at the NFC East. The Eagles are playing better. And Washington,
They play next week.
Yeah, they play next week. I think this comes down to a
Thursday night.
That game, yeah. Can't wait. But we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna take the Commanders actually to shock them. And I'm saying this is a minus. They're -1.5, Jeff, which is a little bit. You find that interesting?
The Commanders are being bet pretty. I mean, they've been bet pretty frequently this year. I mean, a lot of people like the Commanders. They're 7-2. They're kind of high profile with Daniels now. I think the Steelers are the sharp side here for sure. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
go ahead, JB.
No, and Sean, the only reason I say that is we know in the betting, as a player and a coach, like Sean and I are talking about -1.5. The game's not gonna. It's gonna be a. I don't even know what the percentage would be, Jeff. You know better than me, but it would be very, very high for this game to end in a 1 or 2 point game. It's gonna be a field goal.
If you're taking if you're taking the Commanders, you should probably just bet them to win the game. That way, you don't got to worry about the point or two.
Yeah, that's mine, Jeff. I'm going as much as I love the Steelers defense, the way Russ is playing, and you guys know how I feel about Mike Tomlin, top shelf for me. He just finds ways. I'm actually I don't think the Washington Commanders are a fraud. I would I would bet them on the money line in this game. Just take.
But here's one other thing to keep a note on. This Commander run defense is bad. I mean, real bad. I mean, they're giving up over 5 yards a carry, second worst in the NFL. The only team worse against the run has been the New York Giants. So, I mean, they need to bow up a little bit. And Najee Harris is going to get a big workload in this game. They better hope they can stop the run because so far this year they have not done that.
I would expect both teams to hit some explosives off play action in this game.
Yes.
I would expect both teams.
Yeah, no
and
question.
Throw in the fact Pittsburgh has been an elite run defense. So one team very good against the run, one team not very good against the run. Both teams very.
By the way, remember, I'm going to throw something out there. You're not going to get on mainstream media and Sean will understand what I'm saying. The Pittsburgh Steelers have yet to play a league opponent, and in their league is Lamar Jackson. They haven't seen Lamar Jackson this year. You know who they're about to see today? A Lamar Jackson-esque player. They're going to get hit with some triple option and RPO they haven't seen, and that's why I like Washington today. Let's move on real quick. Jeff, we got a Falcons-Saints sighting. Wow, the Saints have really hit rock bottom. Saints starting off hot, averaging 44 points a game. Beating the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody thought they were world beaters. Derek Carr goes down, even though I'm not a Derek Carr guy, and they really hit rock bottom. They're 2-7. They are a +3.5 today against the Falcons. Over under 46.5. The Falcons are a pretty damn good team. It seems like 6-3, leading that division. Where are you guys at with this?
Well, look, I mean, it's not easy to bet New Orleans at this point, but let's be real. I mean, Derek Carr is a major step up than some of the guys that have been in there, i.e. Spencer Rattler. He makes them a better team. Look, are they the team that we saw in the first week or two? No. They just fired their coach, though, which I generally like backing a team off of firing their coach. Definitely gives them generally a pep in their step. I don't hate them on defense. The problem is the Saints have literally no one to throw the football to. I mean, their leading receiver, I believe, last week was Alvin Kamara. Rashid Shaheed's out. Olave's out. Bub Means is out. They have all sorts of guys out, and that's not going to help a quarterback in Carr who can be a bit skittish at times. Falcons have been great offensively. It seems like every week they're putting up 30. Who would have thought? They just have a solid quarterback. Defense that's played okay. I'm kind of lukewarm on this game. I don't like road favorites above 3 in the NFL. And I think the Saints are, better with Carr. It wouldn't surprise me if they found a way in a divisional game to win it. This is another game like the Panther or Bear or Patriots Bears. I'm not betting on passing this one.
I like Atlanta in this game. Cousins is a hell of a player. He's the best quarterback in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt. Atlanta's playing pretty good football. They just have so many more weapons. And I'm with you, Jeff. A lot of times I like to ride with, new coach. Is there rejuvenated energy? Rizzi's, as a new coach. But in truth, we saw with the Jets, sometimes it just doesn't matter. When you're undermanned, I know I get it's at home. I think the New Orleans Saints are reeling so bad. And they beat Carolina and Dallas. Dallas blows, and Carolina Carolina's not good. That were their first 2 wins when we crowned them. Ooh, look at all the points they're scoring. Dallas defense, aside from the fact that Dallas can't tackle anybody, can't block anybody, can't throw, doesn't run routes, they don't win games. The coach and play calling's elementary, and it's a where's Waldo when you think, well, who's the leader of this team? And now and their quarterback's been up and down with his game. Other than that, the Cowboys are really damn good. And aside from the fact that Carolina's limited and they look like at times they're playing with 9 players, but they're trying, and Canales hopefully will get a chance to be a good player. Other than that, boy, those 2 teams are really stellar. That's who New Orleans beat. New Orleans is not good. There's not a lot of weapons, and I know Carr gives you a chance. Give me Atlanta on the road. I think Atlanta's going to go. I mean, I think Atlanta's one of those teams that they're able to go in and win a division because of their offense and explosiveness. They can scare somebody in the first round of a playoff in a wild card round. I know we're a ways away from that. I like Atlanta on this. I just don't think that New Orleans has enough weapons to score much. I don't.
Yeah, this team could be 9-3 here in the next 2 weeks. And we're looking at the Atlanta Falcons looking for a fucking 1 seed in the NFC.
They've done a nice job.
The Lions hit a bump, and the Vikings and the Lions go at each other. I mean, this could be a team that falls in line here and tries to get a 1 or 2 seed. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're playing well.
Hey, real quick, off the topic, real quick, I got to ask you guys something. The Carolina Panthers this week signed and extended Hubbard, right? Great little back they got.
Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State, yep.
He just got carted off. We got to, Sean, and I don't know what your take is. I might be on the hill alone on this, but we got to stop paying these dudes. I hate to sound like an asshole. We got to stop paying them, though, during the season and let them show that they can sustain a season, man. We keep getting these guys paid, and they don't even fucking play 1 game. Look at how many guys have been paid this year, Sean, and have absolutely gotten hurt the very next game.
Let me ask you this. Why do we feel the need, honestly?
I don't know.
Why do we feel the need when we have them under contract?
I don't know.
I know there's a certain selection group that you try to get. I get that. But now Chuba Hubbard's a good player.
I guess he's back in the game, but he got a horse collar, and they thought they say he got a sprained LCL right now.
But even injuries or not, I mean, are we afraid that all of a sudden they're going to be mad at us if we don't sign? I mean, Chuba Hubbard's a good player. Chuba Hubbard's not Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey. He's a good player. Yeah. But I just don't understand why we automatically feel, well, if we don't sign him during the season, we hurt their feelings. It still kicks into the same salary cap as next year on an extension. I don't know why we feel the need to during the season. And then we wonder why sometimes they're distracted or something. Certain guys I get, there's outliers and everything. But to me, it's the season. He ain't going anywhere. I mean, him or anybody else. I've never understood the fact of, whoa, what if he hurt his feelings that we didn't sign him before December? And there's a time.
He's also still getting paid, by the way. Like, it's not like he's.
That's my point. He's under contract.
That's what I don't get.
Why do I feel the need to do it?
I'm on a delay, so I got him get horse collared. He got thrown out. He got put out the game. I guess he's come back in the game. But here's the issue I got. Thanks a lot for all you dick riders in the fucking chat that just think you know so much. But here's the thing, though. The LCL, which it looks like it will be swollen by next game. He'll probably miss a game or 2. Look at the guys that we've seen do this. Jamar Chase set out. He was under contract, Sean. And guess what? We felt obligated. We had to make a deal for him. All these guys that are under contract sitting out practice until the season is showing you why the league is so bad until week 4 or 5. And in this case, I don't believe we've ever gotten over the hump of all the guys that missed and opted out because we're still in week 10. To Jeff's point to start the show, we haven't seen a real good quality football week yet. We've seen, Jeff, we've seen 1 or 2 games. We haven't seen a good week yet.
But also to strengthen the point of why do this, like this is a 2-7 team. It's not like you're like helping morale. Like I can understand if you're 8-1 or 9-1 and you're playing really well and a guy like, let's say Rashee Rice doesn't get injured. Rashee Rice is having a good season. So maybe you extend him or Nico Khan, whatever, one of these teams. This is a 2-7 team. It might be 2-8 in 3 minutes if they lose this game. So yeah, I don't get it either. Does seem like bad luck though.
Yeah, I mean, every single guy. Look at Jordan Love's get signed. He goes out game 1 this year.
Prescott's
done for the year. I mean, I just, and that's a guy, Sean, we can talk about for a whole show. But
I still remember, real quick, I still remember when the Philadelphia Eagles gave Carson Wentz $150 million.
Hell yeah.
He gets injured,
Yeah.
a guy who had injury history his whole life. They then take Jalen Hurts, and that didn't make sense whatsoever. In fact, I went viral for that because nobody understood it. Nobody got it. And they gave him all this money, and what does he do? Get injured? I don't get it. I don't get it either.
No return on investment, and Sean will know better than anybody. I'm going to take the Falcons. I think we're all three with the Falcons. I think the Saints will play hard, Jeff, for their new coach, as they always do, as you alluded to when it happens like this. But eventually, they just don't have enough.
But also, you have to ask yourself, too, with the Saints, like, are they just selling at this point? I mean, they got rid of Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, are they just kind of throwing in the towel? They fired their coach.
They have to, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a ton on offense. So, yeah, it's hard to fade the Falcons. They're playing great football, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this next one, man. A couple more morning games to discuss before we get to the afternoon slate. Broncos Chiefs, man. Listen, Sean Payton, he's going to have a game plan. They're plus 7.5 versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs seem to have every game at home all year long. It seems like everything is fucking favored for this team. But you know what? Haters hate when you're winning, and they're 8-0. And they got Patrick Mahomes, who's having one of his worst statistically years all in his career. But they're still winning, and they're 8-0, man. And he's figuring out that he had a new toy in DeAndre Hopkins. The Broncos got fucking obliterated by the Ravens a couple weeks ago. They're trying to figure it out. They're 5-4. They're hanging in there. They got a really good defense, but if their offense and the rookie Bo Nix, I think he's going to hit a fucking real heavy headwind today against Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense. It's a minus 7.5 for the Chiefs. Over under is 42.5. Jeff, where you at?
Yeah, I'm going to play Denver here. Divisional game, getting more than 7 points. Keep in mind, in the 8 wins the Chiefs have, only 2 have come by more than 8 points, and they were by 10 and 13, I believe. So while they've been good and undefeated, they're not good against the spread. And this is a Patrick Mahomes who, look, we love him. I love him, but he's not a good favorite quarterback. He's obviously inflated in the markets. People think he's worth more than he really is. Look, people, and this is one thing amateur gamblers struggle with, is that they overrate how important one particular player is. And that's why I've always said, to be quite frank, in the NBA, I don't even know most of these teams. All I look at is the number. It's all that matters, and it's all that we need to know about. The NFL is similar. It just doesn't mean that much. One player is not insular to how the game shakes out. Denver also, Sean Payton, very good as a dog in his career. What did the NFL see last week? What did casual people see? Broncos get blown out. Maybe they're not as good as we thought. They still have a quality rookie quarterback. This is still a good team defensively. This is a game in division. And this number was 8.5 2 or so days ago. It's now dropped to 7.5 with the whole world on Kansas City. I'll lean on Denver making a game of it against a team who just doesn't win by double digits very often.
I'm having a hard time with this. I'm with both you guys on this. Is Spagnuolo can make it miserable for rookie quarterbacks. And with I sense that Nix is going to have to make a whole bunch of plays that are off schedule today if they're going to stay in the game. And at what point in time with an 8-0 team, I know it goes both ways, at what point in time is a team that's won every game and it hasn't been pretty offensively doing it, or they don't win that game?
Right.
Or the other side is, at what point in time do they finally boat race somebody and curb stomp them at home, where we say, okay, now that's the shit. And we know about Kansas City, guys. They, as the season goes on, always get better. They always get better. So the number concerns me. What is it? They've got a hook on that 7, right, Jeff? Is that what you said, 7.5?
Correct.
And it's come down from 8.5. It's a little concerning to me, and you're right. And, Sean Payton will pull out. If he's got to play in the bag, it ain't staying in the bag today. You and I both know that. Because who's the best Dickum guy in the world? Andy Reid. He really is. We call Dickums to keep somebody off ground. Andy Reid calls 6 of them a game to complete them and make them happen. I mean, that's what it feels like. I lean towards Kansas City having a big game as opposed to not. 7.5 feels like a lot in a division game. It feels like a scrappy hang around. And I also can see this being up by 13, and all of a sudden Nix takes them down on backdoor, covers this damn thing, and Kansas City wins. If Kansas City has the ball with the last drive and the game in hand, the game still not settled, the Chiefs will go down and win this. That's become who they are. It's become who they are. But that half a point concerns me. Although I could feel like we could walk out of this game and it's 30-10.
You need to, but keep in mind, over the last 5 games, that's just not been this series. It just hasn't.
No, I know.
The last game these two teams, the last game these two teams played, Broncos won 24-9 last October. And in the previous 4 games, 3 of 4 were decided by 3, 4, and 6. And the Chiefs won one game 19-8. So, like, they've been very close. They've been low scoring. This is a lot.
Quarterback on the road against Spagnuolo concerns me. I would lean a little bit towards Denver. I agree with you. But I tell you what, it will not shock me if we come out of this game and Kansas City's forced 3 turnovers and wins by more than that. But if I had to, like you said, gun to the head, bet it, I'd probably say that hook leans me towards Denver. If it was 6.5, I'd think different. 7.5, give me the Denver Broncos.
But also I'll keep saying, like, this is why players just don't mean that. Like, you look at these teams, it doesn't matter who's on the Chiefs. They're good, right? They just have an engine. I don't know.
But the guy under center makes them a little bit better.
Sure.
That one guy. You're right. But I'm still with you on this, Jeff. But I think we'll get a feel early how Spagnuolo, who I think is the best big-time game defensive coordinator in football, and he's proven it. And but Sean Payton, he'll have something for him. This could be one of those. Yeah, they're going to go one way. At some point in time, Kansas City, they're not going undefeated. They're going to lose to somebody.
I'll ask you guys,
and maybe it's today. But I like Denver. 7 points is about right. But Kansas City's still capable. We know that.
We had an argument here, and we all know that what I feel about coaches. But you got to look at Andy Reid. I mean, remember when he was in Philadelphia? Literally, his assistants were Harbaugh, McDermott, who else? Spagnuolo.
At one point, it was John Gruden. Gruden like one of his offensive coordinator in Philly at one point.
Yeah. I mean, he said
Dirk Cutter. He's got a few.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's got a tree, and all from the Walsh tree though, Jeff. Before way back. So it's far from the tree.
Was Jim Johnson, the great Jim Johnson defensive coordinator, his too, who I think Jim's one of the 5 best of all time.
They went to the Super Bowl with him.
Real quick story. It's funny when I was at ESPN, and you call these coaches again. Jim's been a buddy. I've loved him forever. I love the way he approaches defense. It was when Denny Green was with us at ESPN, and the talk because Denny had offered me the quarterback coach job at Arizona. So when he left ESPN, he had offered me the job, and I flew into Arizona and had an office with the whole thing. And we were talking at the 11th hour, and I decided not to take it. And I don't know if I regret it or not, but not being with Denny, I do regret because I loved him. And so when he offered me the job and I went home to decide, I was still at ESPN. I called Jim Johnson to talk about a game they were getting ready. It was like a Sunday night or Monday night game. And I said, Jim, just call and catch up and about the game and get some insight to go on NFL Live. And he said, and by the way, Sean, you dumb motherfucker. He goes, are you actually going to take this job? And I said, and that's coming from your ass, who's been in the leagues for 100 years and still wear people out. He goes, sit your ass in a coat and tie. He goes, well, I think you'd be great as a coach. He goes, sit your ass in a coat and tie and keep talking about it. And don't you dare come into this coaching business and do this shit. And we laughed about it, but it's just a fun little inside story. And I'll never forget where I was sitting at ESPN with a coat tie, get ready for NFL Live. And I thought, Jim's really smart. He goes, you don't want to do this shit, Sean. He goes, you got a great gig right now. And we were laughing, and I miss Coach Johnson because I think he's one of the 5 best we've ever had defensive coordinators. And
Sean,
if he was still alive, he's a guy I'd hire, right? Because he was so good. But I think about that to this day and think, we do got a good gig, but those coaches work their ass off. And the great Jim Johnson, who Andy's had a lot of great assistants, there's no doubt.
Sean, I wanted to ask you before we get to the next game. I heard something about you. I wanted to see if it was true. Is it true you were the consultant to Adam Sandler on The Longest Yard? Is that true?
Yeah, he called me. They called and left a message. We were at the Pro Bowl. I came back from the Pro Bowl in my office. My ESPN voice. I had met him only for 20 seconds. Dan Fouts and Dan was a play-by-play guy, and I was when the year I'd left when I retired from football. I was for the local TV games on the Chargers. We did the local games on TV. Dan was play-by-play, and I was his color commentator. And Sandler came in for a game. We were at Qualcomm. Sandler came in to say hi to Dan during a preseason game after they had done what's the name? What's the movie they did with
Longest Yard?
No, Bobby Boucher.
Oh, Waterboy.
Waterboy, because Fouts was part of the broadcast team, remember?
Yeah, I
He was
remember
in
that.
the movie. So he peeked his head, and he and Dan were talking, and I was sitting there. It was like at halftime. I turned around and said, "Hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm a fan." And that's all I'd met him. And it was literally 20 seconds of saying it, and I'm thinking, Sandler's here, but I don't want to be fanboy, even though I was, right?
Jeff, now these motherfuckers are best friends.
Yeah, years go by, and there's a message on my voicemail. I'll try to make this quick at ESPN. And, we all got those friends that fuck with us, right? And it said, hey, Adam, Happy Madison Productions calling, left a message. I said, yeah, sure. And I middle finger, I said, I know it's which friend? And I'm starting to go through like, okay, you pricks. And so I don't do anything. A week or so goes by. There's another voice message. It said, from Happy Madison, please call Barry Bernardi, who is their like executive producer of Happy Madison. Great guy. They'd left a message. So I said, let me call this. So I dial up the number, and it says Sony Pictures, because that's where Happy Madison's their production company was on the lot at Sony. And so I call up. I say, yeah, this is Sean Salisbury calling for Barry Bernardi. Oh, yes, Mr. Salisbury. Like, I'm not even a household name in my own home, right? So I could get him on the phone, and this is literally how it went. I said, Barry, Sean Salisbury, how you doing? He goes, Sean, good to talk to you. He said, glad you called back. I said, I'm sorry it took so long, but I thought one of my friends was bullshitting with me, so I apologize. And I said, what can I do for you? Because I had heard through the grapevine that a new Longest Yard was coming out, but I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. I didn't know why they were calling. And so he says, well, if you didn't know, we're starting we're going to do a remake of Longest Yard. I said, well, I kind of heard about it. I said, well, where do I come in with this? And he said, well, we want you to train Paul Crewe, who was Burt Reynolds in the first one. And I said, Paul Crewe? I said, yeah. I said, of course I watched the first one 8 million times. I said, you want me to train him to be the quarterback? He said, yeah. I said, well, first off, who's playing Paul Crewe? And he said, Adam Sandler. I said, get the fuck out of here. I started laughing. I said, you're putting Sandman in there to do this tough guy Burt Reynolds role. He said, yeah. And I started laughing. I said, it's going to cost you a lot of money for me to train him. And he laughed. He goes, well, we have that. And I'm like, yes, you do. And that's exactly what he said. And I said, then we got talking, and I was joking because as I found out, Sandler works his ass off, and that's what good actors do. And he's really kind of, we played basketball every day. I trained him for like 6 months before we left to go to the set. And we played 2-on-2 basketball either on the lot or somewhere else. It was me and him versus anybody he'd production crew. When Sandler says we're playing hoops, so we'd play basketball for about 45 minutes and go train. So anyway, I said, yeah. And so I said, Barry, why me? He goes, well, Sandler saw you on TV and liked your personality and had heard that you train quarterbacks and wanted to hire you. I said, great. I called my agent a week later. I'm sitting in there, and there's Spades walking around in shorts and Schneider and the whole group. We walk, and I tell my agent, I said, man, this is not my realm. And there's like 12 people in the meeting room. I said, what do I do? He said, just be you. So we went through the whole meeting, and Sandler's, if you think he's great, times 100, because there's no better human being. The next morning, I show up at his house. He's in his robe. His wife's in her robe. Matzo ball's at the door. He says, Salisbury, come on in. I said, he goes, you want breakfast? I go, no, I'm good, brother. He goes, let me get dressed. We go to a house in the Beverly Hills area, throw the ball for a half hour. His arm's damn near falling off. He says, all I want to do is be able to throw it 40 yards. I said, no, my name's on this. You're going to do it all. And so we trained for 6 months, from licking his fingers to eye black to throwing mechanics to 3-step drops. We did it all, and he's become one of my a dear friend. I love him to death. And Marino had him on, what was the show that they do now? The football show, the one a week, the NFL highlight show that now Ryan Clark's on, and that group, right? But it was the original. And Marino had him on as a guest. It was on HBO. And Marino says, Salisbury? He goes, what the fuck, Salisbury training? What do you mean, Salisbury? How'd you take him over me? He couldn't drop it in the ocean if he was standing on a beach. And Dan and I laugh about it this day about it. And he just,
hey, so from that point on, he put you on bench warmers,
house money. And he's one of those guys. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. I just am a huge, huge fan of his.
I will tell you.
That's how it happened. And I was honored to do it. And I had more laughs. I almost threw up crying laughing on the set of that movie because Chris Rock and we had so much fun. And Sandler treats everybody like gold. It doesn't matter if you serve food, if you're a lead actor. I was honored to be that, but also to just the friendship that I'm in. The memories were beyond belief, and he worked his ass off to make sure that it looked real.
I will tell you, one of my favorite movies of all time is Uncut Gems.
I thought he got snubbed for an Oscar. I did.
He was, and that was not a role he had never done.
Right.
I mean, he was, as a gambler, someone who bets on sports. It was
awesome, and he honestly got. I thought he should have got an Oscar nomination, but just the group he hangs around. What you see is what you get with him. Yeah. And I mean, of all the people he could have chose, I'm glad he chose me because it formed a pretty phenomenal friendship. And to this day, and when I did real quick bench warmers. He brought both my boys. My daughter was too young, but both my boys are in the movie with me. He brought them there, let them sit in captain chairs. He treated my family and me, and always has like far better than I deserve to be treated.
Real quick, before we get to these other games, you got to tell us because I know the story. You and I have talked about it in person, but you play like a gay coach.
Yeah, and a gay baseball coach and bench warmers.
Not far off from your real character.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even need to do any acting.
Hey, you had a lot of twisted, a lot of nipples
titty twisters. Yeah, a lot of titty twisters.
Hey, tell the story though that he asked you to go on another movie and you were like, "Am I going to be gay?" And he said, yeah.
Well, so yeah. So we get done with that. But first of all, we got him in Longest Yard, and I was on the golf course, with that golf course scene with Kevin Nash and the warden. Remember, I go up to him wanting to snap a picture. Yeah. So I was on that. And then immediately after, he goes, Salisbury, I got a role for you. I'm going to put you in bench warmers. And I was in bench warmers throughout the movie, and it was awesome. And you imagine just sitting around and reading when you go and sit around and do the read, they get all their casts there and we go through the read of the movie. Dude, you talk about being intimidated and love. What a great human being. He is all of them. And I'm like, I'm sure I'm in over my head with this. And you go and you got your own trailer. I'm like, this is really cool, right? I mean, it's like, I think I got snubbed for best supporting actor in a comedy role, but that's neither here nor there. But so I say to him, he says, Saj, I got another role for you. It's in Chuck and Larry. They filmed it in Brooklyn with Kevin James, they're firemen, right? Was they with a bunch of firemen, right? And I said, well, Sandler, I played that role so well. My buddies are asking me, they want me in a role that is like where I get to have like 8 women in the role where I'm like making out with women as opposed to being, the toughest gay coach on the planet. He goes, oh, Salisbury, I got a great one for you. I said, well, what is it? And so it was during the fall where we were shooting that, but I couldn't do it because ESPN wouldn't let me take away from my responsibilities during football season. I said, I can't do it. I said, what was my role going to be? Oh, he goes, you're going to be a gay fireman. I'm like, great. Thanks for it. I said, am I ever going to be the guy that pulls all the ladies instead of just the dudes, right? And you know who my pool boy was in Benchwarmers? You know who that is? That's Chris Farley's brother, John Farley. Oh, really? The guy who is another phenomenal human being. So I had a blast with all that. The cast is what makes it awesome. Yeah, so he was going to give me another role. Said, man, Salisbury, you played it too well. So go be that guy. So it's like having assistant coaches, man. You're only as good as your assistant coach. Well, yeah, and Sandler knows that, and I'm honored to have been a part of it, but just the friendship alone means more to me than anything, and the way he treats my family and me.
No doubt. Great story. You can't get that on any other show, the Realest Show. We're going to wrap these afternoon games up as we head into Frisco, Jeff. Frisco and the Bucks. Real quick, pop up the film, Bailey, real fast. We'll show a couple clips of Purdy, and we'll break this down. This is Brock Purdy against the Chiefs on D. You'll get to see a little bit of the Chiefs, what you're going to see against Denver today, but this is the 49ers on O, and they're playing a offensive-riddled Buccaneers team, Jeff. That we all also know that Mike Evans could be returning anytime soon here, but they're struggling on offense. But Otten has been a primetime DFS tight end. He's averaging about 8 catches a game with Baker on the Bucks. They're going to play this Frisco defense today, but this Frisco offense is probably going to be led by CMC, his first game back. So you'll see a little bit of a different offense today, Sean. I don't know if you want to allude to that real quick before we pick the game. But CMC is going to be in the backfield today. Hopefully they don't overuse him and he can stay healthy. But what do you expect to see the difference between this offense with it and without CMC and with CMC?
And JB, you know this. Jeff, you do as well. You guys watched and covered and coached football long enough. Even with McCaffrey in the backfield, regardless of the number of touches he gets, game plan going in completely changes the defensive coordinator's mentality, how you got to defend him. Because even though they've run the ball fairly efficiently without McCaffrey, it's his ability in the pass game. He and Samuel in the same backfield. The multiple sets, formations, personnel groupings they'll use. And you cannot say, well, they're going to use him limited. If they use him limited, even though the defense is still going to, it's like anything. When you got McCaffrey's what makes this thing go. So even when he doesn't touch it off play action or getting him out of the backfield, if you go empty or in a set like this, and whether he's in the slot, whether he's in the backfield, he creates so many mismatches for your offense, which creates more space for Kittles and Deebo Samuels. I would expect there to be a lot more spacing and bandwidth to the offense, whether he touches it 25 times or not. I'm assuming he's pretty damn healthy, so I would think you're going to get a steady diet of him, 4 or 5 catches and 15, 16, 18 touches or carries in the backfield. And I do think it's going to be a difference because if you go big, a linebacker covers him or a safety. If you go small, then they're too physical up front and they'll run the ball at you. He creates a dynamic mismatch issue.
This is why I wrote this up, because the yellow dot, the yellow circle there is what you will see with CMC today. CMC will be expanded. He'll be in the slot as a receiver. And now Kittle, where the blue line will now be matched up one-on-one with one of these safeties that you'll see for the Tampa Bay
Buccaneers. And if you put a corner on either one of them, JB, that's a mismatch as well with the physicality part. It just is, because you can still run the football from this set.
And what it gives you is this will be Mason now. And now you got Mason in the backfield, Kittle and CMC right here in the slot. Now you can motion him back into the backfield. You can do so much more now with CMC in the game that people don't understand, which will give you one-on-one matchups with Kittle, and that's when Kittle is at his best, and that is when the red dot down here, this yellow guy right here, Deebo Samuel, will be one-on-one now, and now you've got 3 options instead of just having 2, even though Ayuk is out for the season.
What you can do too, JB? You can simply flip-flop the guy in the backfield, even if that was a receiver, and you can stick Deebo Samuel. You can just flip-flop those two, stick Deebo Samuel back there, and create another issue. I think bandwidth will be a problem today. I like the 49ers in the game. I do.
Yeah, take me away, baby. Yeah, I agree. I do too, Jeff. I don't know where you are with this. I know that the line is fluctuating, but it's at 6.5, minus 6.5 for the Niners. They're 4-4. The Bucs are 4-5. These both teams in the NFC, Jeff, are at a critical standpoint of the season. Both injury riddled. The Cardinals lead this division. The Rams are following hard with it. This is a tight division for the Niners in the West, and the Bucs are trying to stay ahead above water here in the South. Where are you at with this one?
Well, look, I mean, Niners are off a bye. They kind of got healthy finally. They got everybody back for the most part, at least. And you look at the other side, the Bucs. I mean, who the hell are they throwing to? I mean, Mike Evans, Godwin out.
Shepard, Otten.
McMillan's now out. They're throwing to people like Ryan Miller, whoever that is. Look, I'm going to go prop in this game. I don't play a lot of props, but the proof is without those guys, Cade Otton is the go-to guy. I mean, he's got 77, 81, and 100 yards over the last 3 games. A lot of big plays, 3 touchdowns. Otton over 60 or more receiving yards. I think he has a pretty good game here. Who else do you throw to at this point? Bucs defense is terrible, by the way, as well. I have them in the bottom 3.
How are the Niners how are the Niners when they have to travel? Do you have a stat on that? I don't know what they're.
Well, that's been as the NFL, over the last 20 years, that's gotten particularly blown out of proportion. It's just not a factor going west to east. It's not as big as in college where it only recently started happening. These teams have been doing this for a while. A lot of these guys have played football for a decade or so overall. Traveling is not a big deal. It's not like they're traveling on rickety jets or some bus or something. It's mostly a myth.
And at some point in time, the 49ers are going to explode and look like the 49ers.
Yeah.
And considering the possessions they're going to get today, because I just don't know how you're going to sustain moving the football in that game if you're Tampa. And I think Baker's done a hell of a job of keeping him afloat. The 49ers are the better team. And now that you're right, both San Francisco and Tampa are in, and I don't want to say desperation, but they've got to kick into another gear to stay alive in this, and the 49ers are the better talent. They're the better team, and when it all gets down to it, the better team usually wins, and eventually the 49ers are going to play their best game. Why not today? And I think the energy that McCaffrey gives them will take them to another level because he's going to be like a caged animal today, getting out and being let loose. He really is.
No doubt. By the way, this overtime, this game's in overtime. By the way, fucking unbelievable. This giant game. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Niners with CMC's energy returning to the field, and I think Shanahan moves all those pieces around perfectly today, and Purdy will do just enough to get those guys involved. And I got the Niners, Jeff. Let's dive into this next one, Jeff, real quick to get through these first few games this late. The Titans-Chargers is the next one. This is another game. The Chargers defense is, I think, top 3 in the NFL right now. They're starting to get the first pick Johnson involved. Their wide receiver had a big game last week for the first time. They got McConkey's getting involved. They run the football. They play great defense. This is a Harbaugh-led team that is it fits him to a T. Herbert's starting to be efficient. He's not putting up godly numbers, but he's being very efficient. This is a Chargers -8. Chargers -8. Jeff, where are you at with this one?
I'm playing the under 40. I've been playing a lot of Charger unders this year, and it's been money. They're the slowest team in the NFL. Okay, nobody is slower. They run a play every 31 and a half seconds. That is super slow. Tennessee is the second slowest team. So both these teams are just going to walk, huddle. It's going to take forever. They're going to, just run the ball. That's what they do. We know what Charger teams do. Throw in the fact they have a great defense. Will Levis, whoever plays quarterback for Tennessee, is a disaster. Here's a trend, okay, and you're not going to get this anywhere else for the most part. Over the last 19 games that Justin Herbert has played, 17 have went under the total. I mean, that's just an unbelievable winning percentage. 17-2 to the under. This is what Charger games is, and that's what Jim Harbaugh does. Under 40.
What do you guys like about Tennessee? Give me three things you like about them.
I like Pollard. I think they need to run the ball more. Ridley's been a little bit better. The quarterback stinks, and they have a pretty solid defense.
JB, any reason for you to think this team wins the game? Forget the points, but just wins. If we're just playing football today, Tennessee got a chance to win the game?
No. Not with Harbaugh. Last year with the old coach, yeah. This Harbaugh team, they're going to just do what they're supposed to do. They're going to.
But at what point have we ever felt like they can win the game, Tennessee?
Yeah.
But Jeff, you make a point. That's my only thing. If this team played with some tempo, meaning the Chargers, I don't think this game's close. I thought this would be my lock of the week. That's a lot of points. And the Chargers play to that low score. I would take the under in the game as well. I still don't think it's going to be close, but that's a lot of points. What is it, 8? Would you say it's 8, 8.5?
8.
Yeah, that's a lot. I would still tend to, if I had to, think that the Chargers advantage. I just don't know how Tennessee is going to muster up enough. I just don't.
But I think you make a quality point in that if you're going to take points, it's probably what you want to do against the Chargers just because they're not a great offense overall. Right. I remember a couple of weeks ago, JB and I both gave Tennessee a chance against Detroit. The problem is Tennessee just couldn't get stopped.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to take points in those kind of games, but I could see it. Listen, the whole world's on the Chargers.
And they should be, but that's still a lot of points. I get why they take Tennessee, but I would take the under in this because it reeks of it could actually be 27-10. It's 31-3. I mean, what's the number? 37, 38, Jeff?
40.
Oh, yeah. To me, I just
Jeff,
don't.
The bet US line's at 9.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a lot of points. I would take the Titans, but if you really want a safe bet, pick the Chargers to win the freaking game.
Can I just read you guys quickly the scores for the Chargers here? 22-10, 26-3, 20-10, 17-10, 23-16, 17-15, 26-8, 27-10.
Not one game is one over DNA. That's
not one game is one over 40.
Right. And the Chargers are going to win. So if you want a smart bet, just take them the under, which I would take first, and the Chargers at home to win the game. I wouldn't probably mess. That's a lot of points to give away, even with the Tennessee Titans.
I'll also say one other thing about sports betting. Okay, do you know the prototypical sports bet last night? Every square better on the planet took BYU. Every one of them. Every one of them. 9-0, but it's a rival. And ask yourself,
I would have never taken that because I expected BYU to win, but that BYU-Utah rivalry is one of the more underrated rivalries in college football when it comes to the fierceness of it and how close it is every year.
And Sean, nobody bet BYU is one of those bet games in the market. All week, though, the number went down. I think it closed 2.5. It fell right on a field goal. It was a perfect situation. Utah was the best bet on the board yesterday.
Yeah.
To me.
And Kyle Whittingham's one of the best coaches in college football, regardless of what's going on.
And they still have a top 10 defense, Utah, for as bad as they are.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, man. I'm taking the Chargers to win this game. There's no question in my mind. I just don't think Harbaugh loses games like these.
They're trustworthy all of a sudden.
Yeah, they are. Eagles, Cowboys. This was my lock pick, man. Listen, it's a hot take to a lot of you. I said it on my show. I'm not going to renege now and go backwards. I think Cooper Rush gives this team an energy that they're going to come out and play hard to. And I know the Eagles are high. Jeff may be like shitting on me right now and say, fuck that. The Eagles are rolling. And I agree with that too. But I just have a feeling that the Cooper Rush-led team is going to give this Cowboy team a energy that's going to be a little different today. I'm taking the Cowboys to cover this 7.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, he is one of the probably better backups in the league. I think my problem here, though, is, and I think you guys would agree, I don't know that we've even seen this Eagles team play a full 4 quarters offensively yet. And they're still putting major points on the board, 28 or more in 3 straight games. And that was with them not playing well in the first quarter. Finally got the monkey off their back last week. This is a Dallas defense that's just frankly bad. They're going to get Parsons back, but the secondary is riddled. Deron Bland's out. Javon Diggs is questionable. They're 23rd in the league in pass defense. This is the worst red zone touchdown percentage defense in the league. When you get to the red zone, you score against the Dallas Cowboys. They're just not real fierce up front. They look like a product of their coach, a lame duck guy who's never really been good at this level. I think the Eagles get into the 30s here. Do I think that Cooper Rush can do that? I don't know. I had this like 30-24, though. I could see a situation, Coach, where I think you're right. Maybe taking the 7.5, 7 points, taking Dallas as a home dog. Maybe they have some rejuvenation under Cooper Rush. We'll see. The play I made in this game, Eagles over 26.5, their team total. They have not played a complete game and are still getting into the 30s. This offense, I think, is legit. They have everybody pretty much healthy on offense. A.J. Brown's back. Give me the Eagles team total over 26.5.
Okay, and I would agree with that. Tell the Cowboys undefeated at home last year, right? Now tell me how would the point spread, the point totals they've given up at home this year. Anybody got that in front of them?
I don't, but it's a lot.
They are putrid. And I know Michael Parsons is one of the most explosive defensive players we have, but if you prevent him from taking over a game, which he can wreck a game, I don't see how as much as listen, I know his situation. I've been in it. And he's been efficient because he doesn't try to do too much. I think he realizes his weaknesses. I think, see, JB, you go on the other side. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to boat race the Cowboys today. There's nothing the Cowboys do great unless Parsons is. I'm talking about their offensive line, running game, passing game, route running, quarterback play calling. Right. There may be a little because Rush is in there something, and
I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have like fucking 14 catches. I just do.
For 48 yards, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I get it. But, I get your bet. Maybe I'm overdoing this, but I don't like the Cowboys at home in 2024. I don't think even as good as Cooper Rush is, they're going to play a lot more sideways football. I think the Eagles are starting to hit their. I would take the Eagles point total. I would for sure. I actually still think you can reach the over in the game, and most of it's going to be by the Eagles. I think that the Eagles hit it all today. I like the Eagles in every way, shape, or form today.
Keep in mind, Sean is right. I mean, in 3 games at home this year, the Cowboys have given up 44, 47, and 28. They're just not good in the secondary. It's just they're about
you guys know it, Jeff. We could talk about all the quarterback play and the rejuvenation a backup may give you. The truth of the matter is, they're not good.
No,
they are horse shit right now. Yeah. And I think
Mike
Cooper Rush is explosive enough to.
And I hate to tell you too. If you think that one player is going to come back and make them not be the 31st. I mean, they'll be slightly better, but he's not going to come back and make them a top 10 defense all of a sudden.
Anyway, I get Philadelphia on anything, their point total. To me, Philadelphia.
And also, who better of an offensive line than the Eagles? I mean, you got to get past a good offensive line. So Parsons isn't going to.
Right.
Yeah. And then this will be my. I'm going out on a limb with this one, and this will be my last time picking the Cowboys because I do know they are shitty. But I just think that something's going to happen today at home against this Eagles team with Cooper Rush, and this will be probably the one game. So we got about 4 minutes to get 2 games in real quick, and a Monday night game. So
let's make Jets Arizona quick. I'm not betting it. Arizona is so Jekyll and Hyde. I have no interest in Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to take the Jets money line. I already picked it on BetUS. I'm going to take them after the win last week. But this is another team that's Jekyll and Hyde. So
I got Jets straight up winning as well on the road. I don't care spread. I bet them.
Yeah, I think you guys are just way too quick into believing that just because they won one game in a good spot, they're just still a weak team with a quarterback in his 40s off a major injury. Arizona has been upstart. I know no one wants to believe it, but they've had games where they've looked good. They're just too Jekyll and Hyde.
They're playing better, right? They're not. They don't play consistently enough over the course for me to trust a bet on them. I'm just taking the Jets. I wouldn't bet the game, but I think the Jets win.
Yeah, we got a good night game, though. Lions-Texans, man. This is an exciting one right here. Can the Texans get back? Nico Collins get back going on offense like we think they would be? The Lions are probably the best team in football if we were to just talk about what they've been doing in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks.
They definitely are.
The Chiefs are the undefeated team, but the Lions are playing the best, and that's just my gut opinion. It's going to be a tough one, man. This is a plus 3.5 for the Texans. Over-under is 49.5. Where are you at with this one today at 5:20?
Well, I'm curious to see who and if Collins is back. That could be a major boost. We saw that when Joe Mixon came back, they kind of got going a little bit offensively. Look, they hit a wall against the Jets. We kind of talked about it. Stroud wasn't good. It was just a good spot for the Jets. This, though, they get it home. Taylor Decker out for Detroit up front. Maybe that it will hurt that offensive line a little bit. It's been hard to go against Detroit just with how good they've been. They've also been a lead against the spread under Jared Goff. That said, I love going against recency bias. What did you just say? And you're not wrong. The Lions are the best team in the NFL. We've seen how great they are. They've won some big games against division rivals recently. But now you got to go on the road, play an upstart Houston team who we haven't really seen play a great game yet this year. We know they've had some penalty problems at times. To me, if you're going to give me more than a field goal here, I'm going to lean on Houston to get kind of a signature win and kind of get right back into the pecking order in the AFC. The Lions are going to put up a bad game eventually. I don't know if it'll be a bad game, but I think they don't do enough. Give me Houston. I think they win the game.
I think the fact that it's on that, I cover this all week, every week because of the Texans. Stroud is not having, and a lot of it's cumulative effect of the offensive line play. It just is. Now, the Texans defense will keep them in. They get tackles for loss and they get pressures. But I got news for you. Dan Campbell, they want to shine on Sunday Night Football. I promise you that matters to them. They love that bright lights. I don't trust the offensive line of the Texans enough. I just don't. That they're not, until they prove to me that they can do this against a really, really good team. They got beat by Green Bay. They got beat by Minnesota. They beat Buffalo, and their defense played great against Josh Allen. But they still had a chance to win the game in the end at Buffalo. While I love the Texans, maybe this is reverse psychology. Their offense has not exploded enough lately. Mixon is the guy you have to lean. You're going to limit possessions. That's what you have to do in this game. You have got to limit possessions. To me, Detroit's just too good right now. I don't think it has anything to do with they're expecting a bad game. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl in the preseason. They've done nothing but validate to me that they're the best team right now overall, even though their record doesn't say that they're the best. That's Chiefs, like you said, JB. I like Detroit. I don't trust the offensive line. I think Detroit's primed for it, and I think Ben Johnson, when he sees blood in the water, goes for the throat. Give me Detroit, and I think it's by a touchdown. I like the Lions on the road tonight.
Yeah. Man.
I hate to say it, but I do. I just think I want the Texans to prove to me that they can handle different looks and that they can stop a team that all around receivers and running backs. Is there a better team in the league that has both? And a quarterback who's playing at MVP level, the ball doesn't hit the ground. and their aggressiveness, I got Detroit, and I'm not sure it's going to be in.
They got Zadarius, I believe. Zadarius,
Yep.
the new acquisition at defensive end to replace or to help fill in for the loss of Aiden. I think they'll get him feet wet today. But you know what, man? This is the game where the Texans have to make a statement because they haven't had that win this year. They've lost to NFC North. They 0-2 versus the North in the NFC. They go down 0-3. I think they have to make the statement game. I'm going to take the Texans in an upset tonight.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, I said that. I think the Texans get a big signature win at home.
What's the number, Jeff?
3.5.
No, the overall point number.
49. No, sorry, no. 49.5.
There's part of me that says take the over as well because I think both are going to be aggressive. I have a part of it. And we know how Ben Johnson is. If you have 42, he wants to score 55. So they're not back. Goff's not getting. If they're up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, Goff ain't going to the sidelines. They're going to keep doing it. So
I agree.
The over, but I still like Detroit. I think Detroit's the better team, and I don't think there's any reason for me to say that they're going to have an off night tonight. Although I hope the Texans defense shows up.
I agree. Tomorrow night's game, real quick. The first game's just kicked off. We got them into you guys. Hopefully, you head on over to BetUS today. Use our promo code CoachJB. And the Monday night game for tomorrow, you can pick as well. This is the Dolphins-Rams. I'm taking the Rams. It's over-under 49, Sean. I think McVay and the Rams are getting a little healthier. That offense, when they're cooking with Kyron Williams, I think Kyron and Derrick Henry are the only two that have scored a touchdown in every game this year. I think they get Nakua if he stays healthy, and Cooper Kupp. This team is going to be still formidable in the NFC West. Overall picture, I don't know, but I think the Dolphins team's a mess. 2-6. They don't have any physicality.
That's the thing. No physicality at all. The Rams beat them. The Rams will beat them at home, and I just take the Rams on the Rams to win the game outright. I don't like Miami. They're fast, but they're not physical, and physical teams at this late in the season, they get pushed around. Give me the Rams.
Jeff?
Yeah, I lean that way too. I didn't look at it too heavily. I don't really focus on it until tomorrow. But, yeah, I lean that way as well. I don't have any interest in the Dolphins, haven't all year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Rams win. McVay and the Rams get it going. And I think Arizona loses tonight, and the Niners going to have to win, and them and the Rams will be a 2-horse race again.
That division's going to be decided in late December. The last 2 weeks of the season, that division's going to be decided after all that's gone up and down. The 49ers won't go away, and neither will the Rams.
Guys, I got to jump off. I got to take a call. I'll talk to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Great work. JB, thanks. I appreciate you guys. Have a great week.
Sean, as always, go enjoy some beers. And you barbecuing or something?
I'm actually going to throw some steaks on, and I got a couple beers ready to go and a cigar ready to go outside and watch all 4 TVs, and let's get it on, brother. Already ahead of me. There you go.
Hey, you know what I'm doing today?
You're going to say going out on your boat with a hole in it? You're Gilligan's Island? What is this?
No, I'm going to pull it out of the water tomorrow. What I don't want to do it, Sean, because it's a 10,000-pound fucking 35-foot boat. It's not easy to run around. I got to go get my trailer. I got to take it to Long Beach. But
you got to get it fixed for safety. Yep.
I got to get it and for the hose.
Yeah, well, they got to eat too. So what are you doing today?
I'm going to plant flowers.
Well, I do that on mine. I had planter boxes built at my house in the back. You think of bullshit, and I don't play, dude. I already got Christmas lights up.
I wanted to say, I got to do that, man. That's fucking quick. You're pretty good.
Yeah, but why would if I'm going to put them up? I want to guess. I'm getting in the spirit. It's November. Let's go.
I wanted to say that because when you played the gay homosexual coach,
yeah,
I wanted to go out today and get a sense of.
Whoa, so you're saying? So this is you. You're saying that if you garden or if you're into planting flowers or green thumb, like I am. That's only the side of a feminine man.
Yeah, so I want to try.
That hurts. Then I get down in there. I get that plant and doing it. No. That's a terrible stereotype. Which is I'm not coming on your show anymore. I'm going to come unhinged, kind of like last Wednesday when you saw everybody else come unhinged with a decision that happened in our country. But I'm not going to come unhinged. There you go. Always Trumper, you are. I like it. There you go. Let's go.
I can't. I seen your boy Rob Schneider's hyped. I seen Pat Perez and Rob out in Scottsdale Urlacher came on the show this week.
My boy Schneider's ready to start a new media company for
I
that.
saw that. You got to hook me up with him because I already had Pat reach out to him too because he lives right there behind Pat.
Oh yeah, what a great dude he is. But hey, don't stereotype those of us who like to plant flowers, dude. Just because you saw me in a movie, it's called acting. And by the way, go back and watch Benchwarmers. Keep sending me residual checks. And by the way, hey, go back and watch that and tell me if I did not get snubbed as best supporting actor in a comedy role.
You know what I get when everybody watches my fucking ass on Netflix? Nothing. Because they fucked me. But you get fucking money. I'm going to go watch it for you right now.
Yeah. And matter of fact, go see a concert. Go do something. Go plant some flowers.
The difference, Sean, between you're acted on that and I was just me.
Right.
And you get praised. I get fucked.
Yeah, well, see, some of us, hey, it's a SAG after card. Keep adding to that, okay?
Yeah, what happened to that, too? I thought they walked out and shit. I thought I was going to be able to get my fucking name back in the whole thing. And
Hang on a second.
God damn. Don't show me that. You fuck. Where's mine at?
Probably over on the letter D, like right D's nuts. Okay, that's where yours is. All right. Now best supporting actor in a comedy role. I feel like I got snubbed. I really did. I mean, snubbed by the Academy.
Everybody thought I was an actor, and I was like, no, I'm not an actor.
Yeah, snubbed by the Academy. I'd like to thank the Academy for snubbing me. You're an idiot, and I love it. And I may go plant some more flowers today.
I'm going to put some palm trees. I'm going to put some baby palms in, a couple things.
Well, don't put any palms in because your pit bulls will eat it. It'll cost you about 20 grand. Yeah, next week you can tell them that dumbass story, okay?
Hey, I'm going to get the yacht. Let's fucking call it what it is. Fucking yacht, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going
to get the yacht fixed, and then I'm going to do the Christmas parade deal in Newport Beach. You know that deal.
Right, yeah, it's right there on Balboa Island.
Yeah.
Jack Balboa. I've been to it many times, and I love it. And by the way, I want to thank you and Pat for the invite, to out there. I'm gonna screw you over because when I buy my new home in Scottsdale, I'm locking the door. You ain't invited, dude.
I'm trying to find mine right now.
Well, dude, I can only lead you to water, dude. That's all I can't make you drink it.
Hey, thanks for coming on the boat yesterday. That was fucking 75 in Long Beach on the boat, on the water. Fucking unbelievable.
Me and all your listeners, and they're sitting there saying, hey, thanks for the invite. Pretty cool, man. I love how you invite me the morning. Hey, JB, you want to come today and plant flowers with me? Oh, no, because you're watching football. Can't get here in a short period of time, right? What a shock.
Hey, you know what we should do? You and I should take the yacht out and invite fans. They pay $5,000 a fucking day. Kick it with us.
Right.
You and I and Pat.
The whole day.
Go out there.
Tell stories and have fun. Do you think people are doing that on a regular basis? Why wouldn't you?
Would you have your pinky out when you drank on the boat that day?
No, I hold it just like this. Okay, I don't do pinky out. Okay, I saved that for my movie roles.
I thought you had pinky out.
No.
You want a martini glass? You want me to make you a fucking martini glass?
No, I'll do a dirty martini with. I don't mind a dirty martini, but that's not my. I'm a little more hard than. I mean, if you look in the background, you can see like I got a bunch. Well, you can't see it. I'd have to adjust. See all those whiskeys right there? Boom. Oh, yeah. There you go. So
I don't see slapdick though. Funny.
Well, it's amazing. I haven't got a bottle, but that's cool. I haven't got a bottle of that.
I see a Last Chance Q mug right behind you.
You're damn right you do, because that's a friend that takes care of friends, unlike somebody else I know. But other than that, all's good. Well, we're tighter than mouse nuts. You know that. Life's good.
Hey. Jimmy D's hit you up?
Yeah, he did. Right on your forehead. Okay. drag him right across your forehead. Now, let me get off this. I got games to watch, bitch. I ain't got time to mess with you and your fresh-shaven head.
I know. I just love you, man. We haven't seen
I love you, too.
We ain't had the one-on-one deal.
When is Pat, is he built his new crib yet or moved into his new crib yet?
He's in process right now. I'll probably go out there for Thanksgiving, and then he'll be in the new spot by Christmas.
Yeah, I'll be out there because I am literally looking for not only a lot to build, but also to buy a crib out there. It's time. Yeah. And I've been looking for a second place, and so let's go, man. And
Arizona finally gave Trump the win. I don't know why it takes a fucking week. It's weird. You and I both know Arizona's not fucking near blue, and I don't know why it's even an argument, but it is what it is.
Let's just all create peace. You don't have to, folks. You don't have to have voted for the same person. Be kind. You don't have to vote for the same person to still have friends. And here's the way I look at it. Whether you're conservative or liberal, if you lose friends over the way they voted, then your friendship can fuck right off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because we wake up the next day, you got to continue on. You got to do it. If that's you, then you know what? Then I'm not the friend for you. Because I don't choose my friends from where I grew up. I got as many on both sides. I don't choose my friends based on how they voted. And if you do, then guess what? I got an ass you can kiss. Okay.
Hey, and you and I, man, have been are still going to hustle. And in my 48 years, and in your 78 years on this earth, I mean, goddamn.
I've never lost a friend from my end by how they voted.
And by the way, our world's
not a
really
gloater
changed.
Either, right?
And our world's never changed by whoever the fuck's the president anyway.
It's the people. It's the people, not the president. That's the way it works. So,
by the way, these are my pronouns. Slapdick.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
So, all right, guys. Hey, Sean, love you. I'll talk to you later.
Brother. Thanks. Appreciate all you guys on here too. Thank you. All right.
All right, brother.
The last chance cube. Let's go.
And I just cannot wait to bring over 60 years of knowledge and experience to not only the novice football fan, Sean, but to the veteran football coach as well.
You love it, you better live it, drink it, eat it, smoke it, and then every now and again wake up with it laying next to you.
The premier football coaching show on